January 4th, and this is your coffee break on the HAN Network. I'm Kate Czaplinski with the latest local news, including a man in a fiery Wilton crash charged, a hot towel causing a fire in Milford, and a refugee family moving into Ridgefield, along with much more. Frank Granito has your Nutmeg Sports Update and a look at the forecast, and Donald Eng will join us later to take a look back on this day in history. But first, in today's news, a 24-year-old Bridgeport man stopped Monday for speeding, allegedly had heroin and crack in the car with him. State troopers were conducting motor vehicle enforcement on Route 8 South in the area of Exit 12 in Shelton when they saw a car traveling at a high rate of speed, and they eventually clocked it going at 96 miles per hour in a 55-mile-per-hour zone. Upon stopping the vehicle, the operator, Joshua Smith, was observed making quick movements with his hands, trying to hide something as troopers were approaching the vehicle. A search of the car revealed 104 bags of suspected heroin, that's approximately 1 ounce, as well as 3.9 grams of suspected crack cocaine and a large sum of cash. Smith was taken into custody and charged with reckless driving, illegal sale of drugs, and possession of narcotics. And Westport now reports that a tractor trailer going the wrong way in the northbound lanes of the Merritt Parkway just before exit 41 in Westport late yesterday had motorists swerving to get out of the way. This photo was also shared by Westport Now, showing that tractor trailer. State police managed to stop the vehicle before it caused a collision, closed the highway, and backed it down to exit 40 in Norwalk. That closure touched off some large backups. The Department of Transportation said the highway was reopened shortly after 5 o'clock in the evening. And the body of a woman was found yesterday on the beach at the end of Alchler Pier in West Haven. Hearst, Connecticut media reports that the woman, estimated to be about 40 years old, was found around 9:40 in the morning, according to Sergeant David Tomorrow. Police and the fire department paramedics were called to the beach on a report of an unresponsive woman and determined that the woman was deceased. Detectives are continuing their investigation, and they say they'll release more information as it becomes known. In other news, crews from Ridgefield and Wilton fire departments extinguished a house fire on Pelham Lane around 5 o'clock this morning. Assistant Fire Chief Jerry Meyer said the blaze damaged a large room in a hallway on the lower level of the home before being extinguished. The emergency call first went to Wilton because of the home's location on the Wilton-Ridgefield border. Chief Meyer said, "We got the call from them looking for assistance, so our engine was sent out, but it was determined on the scene that the home was actually located on the part of Pelham Lane that juts into Ridgefield." You can get more on that story at theridgefieldpress.com. And a 26-year-old Wilton man who police pulled from a burning car back in November was formally charged in the incident on January 3rd after weeks of investigation. Police say Hunter Stanfield of 30 Bittersweet Lane was charged with operating under the influence and failure to drive in the proper lane in connection with that motor vehicle accident on November 23rd. Police obtained his blood alcohol level of .26 from Norwalk Hospital with a warrant. They had suspected he had been drinking because of his behavior and because he said he had drunk some wine with a prescription pill. Police joined forces on a rescue mission November 23rd to pull Stanfield from the inside of that wreck of his 2001 Range Rover, which began burning from the engine compartment after running off the road and hitting some trees. That rescue was captured on this dash cam video. Stanfield was removed from the car by 6 officers just before fire engulfed the entire vehicle. The car was in the roadway on New Canaan Road, and officers supplied first aid at the scene. He was taken by ambulance to Norwalk Hospital with only minor injuries. And Ansonia police are investigating possible irregularities in the city tax office. Police released a short statement yesterday saying that Ansonia Mayor David Cassetti requested assistance from police, and an investigation is now open. The Valley Independent Sentinel reports that the Ansonia tax collector is now on paid leave pending that investigation. Ansonia Corporation Counsel John Marini said that Tammy Blackwell was placed on leave on Tuesday, though she's not been accused of any wrongdoing. You can get more on that story at valleyindy.org. And Milford firefighters report that a warmed hand towel started a fire at a Milford home on Tuesday afternoon. Milford Fire Dispatch received a 911 call at about 2 in the afternoon, reporting a fire on the exterior of a residential home at 24 Ward Street. The first arriving firefighters found a small fire extending up the exterior front wall of that home, according to Battalion Chief Anthony Fabrizi. Firefighters deployed a hose line and quickly extinguished that small blaze. Damage was confined to the front wall and interior closet area of the home. The homeowner told firefighters that she was trying to heat a hand towel in the microwave oven and noticed a section of the towel had discolored from the heat. The homeowner then placed the towel outside to cool on her mailbox as a precaution and returned to the home. The towel then caught fire and spread to a wooden decoration mounted on the mailbox and eventually spread to the home's exterior siding. More on that story at milfordmirror.com. But let's throw it over now to Frank Granito for a look at the forecast. Frank.
Thank you, Kate. Mild and overcast outside this morning as we see temperatures start to warm up again today. Cloud cover should start to break up before this afternoon with an expected high of 50 degrees and wind gusts up around 20 miles per hour. Chilly later on this evening and overnight with partly cloudy skies. Temperatures will fall down into the 20s as high winds continue on into Thursday morning. Cold again on Thursday with early morning sunshine making way for some afternoon cloud cover. Temperatures will be in the low to mid 30s throughout the day with gusts of wind ranging from 15. Update. Let's go back over to Kate.
All right, thanks so much, Frank. We are going to step out for a break. When we come back, Donald Eng will take a look back on this day in history. Frank has your Nutmeg Sports Update, and we have more local news, including a dairy and liquor store robbed for the second time in 2 weeks. More on that when we come back.
At Hoyt Livery, our goal is to always... Sam, what are you doing? We're filming a commercial.
I'm checking out the new Hoyt on the Go app. Hoyt's here!
Hi, this is Leo Carl from Carl Chevrolet in New Canaan. And you've heard me talk about the Chevy Volt for years. The new model gets 53 miles on EV charge daily, plus 420-mile full range. But don't take my word for it. You need to come in and test drive the Volt yourself. Visit us at 261 Elm Street in New Canaan or online at carldirect.com.
Why cook it all this holiday? Avoid the stress of holiday planning and let your friends at Walter Stewart's in New Canaan do the heavy lifting. Whether you're looking to fill in with a few crowd-pleasing sides or you want us to prepare your whole feast, from cranberry sauce to pumpkin pie, we're ready to simplify your holiday. Place your order from our holiday menu and spend your holiday the right way, relaxing. Our fresh prepared holiday meals to go are designed with your busy schedule in mind. Visit us at stewartsmarket.com or at 229 Elm Street, New Canaan.
Have a sports injury or slip and fall that needs immediate care? Coastal Ortho Express Urgent Care gives you direct access to an orthopedic specialist fast, without an appointment. Basketball, hockey, skiing, whatever the sports injury is, sprain or fracture, Coastal Ortho Express can help. Coastal Ortho Express Urgent Care, open Monday through Saturday, now in 2 locations. The iPark building at 761 Main Avenue in Norwalk and 36 Old Kings Highway South in Darien. Or go to coastalorthoexpress.com, like them on Facebook.
On time, done right, safe and reliable. MrHandymanCT.com.
Let our satisfied customers tell it.
I have called Mr. Handyman for every reason, every occasion, every broken item, every leak. They have bailed me out on many occasions, and I would recommend them to anyone.
For any project, large or small.
MrHandymanCT.com.
When it comes to local entertainment, we've got it all.
From movies, local artists, etiquette, and more.
Watch HAN Arts and Leisure with me, Steve Coulter, and our Arts and Leisure editor, Sally Sanders, Mondays at 12:30, right here on the HAN Network.
We're back on this January 4th edition of Your Coffee Break on the HAN Network, and it's time to throw it over to Donald Eng to take a look back on this day in history. Don.
Well, today's highlight is another in a series of attempts to make America great. But first we go to 1642. Charles I of England sends soldiers to arrest 5 members of Parliament. That commenced England's slide into civil war, setting in motion a series of 3 wars over 9 years between the supporters of the king, that is the Cavaliers, and supporters of Parliament, that is the Roundheads. The 9-year wars would cost 200,000 lives, including Charles's, who was beheaded, and his son, Charles II, who died in exile. The wars did permanently settle that monarchs could only rule with the consent of Parliament. To 1847, Samuel Colt sells his first revolver to the U.S. government. The gun was a collaboration between Colt and Colonel Samuel Walker, who wanted a pistol with enough power to stop a person or a horse with a single shot. The Army ordered about 1,100 of the 4.5-pound, 15-inch so-called Walker Colts. And if you happen to have one, they sell for about $900,000 today. To 1853, Samuel Northup regains his freedom. Now, Northup was a trained musician who was born free, and he was on tour in Washington, D.C. when he was kidnapped and sold into slavery. It took more than a decade for him to get a court to free him. He disappears from history in 1857, but a 1863 letter mentions that he was still alive. His memoir, 12 Years a Slave, would become a national bestseller and a popular movie from a couple of years ago. Finally, now we go to 1965 for this.
The Great Society asked not how much, but how good. Not only how to create wealth, but how to use it. Not only how fast we're going, but where we're headed. It proposes as the first test for a nation the quality of its people. This kind of society...
That was Lyndon Johnson unveiling the Great Society in his State of the Union address, rivaling the New Deal in its size and scope. The Great Society specifically targeted education, rural poverty, healthcare, transportation, and more. Though many of these programs have since been eliminated, some Great Society initiatives like federal education funding, Medicare, and Medicaid continue and have even been expanded today. That is your look back in history for today, November 4th, and I'm Donald Ing.
All right, Don, informative as always. Thank you so much. In other local news, for the second time in as many weeks, Darien police are investigating a smash and grab burglary at Frat's Liquor on Post Road. In both incidents, a man used a rock to break the front window and then enter the store. With the window still boarded up from the first burglary, the suspect used a softball-sized rock to break the opposite window. They then stole the drawer from the cash register along with a computer keyboard, knocking several boxes of wine over while moving in and out. The exact amount of cash taken was unknown. The suspect in the most recent burglary was a light-skinned male, possibly driving a pickup truck. Darien police are investigating whether the same suspect committed both crimes. But let's throw it back over to Frank Granito for a Nutmeg Sports Update. Frank.
Thank you, Kate. The HAN Network was live at West Hill High School last night for our first look at the two-time defending FCX champions in boys basketball when the Vikings hosted the Bridgeport Central Hilltoppers in their home opener this season. The Vikings jumped out to an early lead and never looked back as they had 4 players who would go on to score in double figures on their way to a 17-point 73-56 win. Let's take a look at some of the highlights from last night.
Good evening and welcome to the HAN Network's coverage of high school basketball. We are live at the gymnasium at West Hill High School as we get set for an FCX matchup. Tariq River controlling. Picks it out. Dardis now goes to the floor. Open 3 look, and it's knocked down off the bench by Yared Yagubian.
Pretty play there.
To go, and now quickly the other way come the Hilltoppers again. Crossing over, left hand no good, but the rebound put back falls, as converting that time was Raheed Walker.
Yeah, Raheed Walker, he's got 4 points so far.
He's quickly got 5 points to start the second quarter. Washington lost it, and it's turned over again. Kicked outside, Dardis for 3. Got it to go, and a quick timeout taken by Coach McLeod. An 8-0 run to start the quarter. There as it finds Lasicki to keep the possession going. Oh, Dardis spins around, knocks down the 3.
What a pretty play. Almost a big turnover for the Hilltoppers, but a nice job by Dardis.
That's just textbook posting up right there down in the paint. 3-pointer rattled home, getting that one to go. That was Raheed Walker. No look past that time. Dardis feeling it from 3 feet behind the arc. Come on, young man.
Feed him. Plain and simple. Keep feeding the shooter. It swooshes right in. Good look there.
3-pointer answered as knocking down this one was Lembino. And it's just all smiles right now as the Vikings can do no wrong, Kevin.
They're unconscious right now.
16 points for Dardis. He is the leading scorer on the night. The final score, West Hill 73 and Bridgeport Central 56.
Congratulations again to West Hill with the win. They're now 2-2 on the year, and they will get ready to play Joel Barlow and Norwalk in their upcoming 2 games before a rematch of the 2016 FCAC Championship next Friday night when they host the Danbury Hatters. The HA Network will be live for that game. Central drops to 0-2 on the season with that loss and will now travel to Darien on Friday night in search of their first win. Looking around the rest of the FCAC from last night's game, Danbury fell to Staples by a score of 58-44. It was New Canaan over Greenwich 50-47. Trumbull lost their first game of the season as they fell to the Blue Wave by a score of 66-53. Wilton, McMahon, and Trinity all picked up wins as they remain undefeated during the regular season. And we want to offer a congratulations to Trinity head coach Mike Walsh, who completed his 600th career victory last night in the Crusaders' 79-51 win over St. Joe's. For a complete wrap-up of the FCAC basketball slate from last night, as well as a look at the other sports around the conference, make sure you tune in to Nutmeg Sports this afternoon at 2 o'clock. That'll do it for this Nutmeg Sports update. Let's send it back over to Kate.
All right, thanks so much, Frank. Well, in some news just from the Reading Pilot, a possible aggravated assault that occurred around 3:30 in the morning on Sunday, January 1st, is now being investigated by Reading police. According to Police Chief Doug Fuchs, a juvenile male flagged down a Reading police cruiser on Sunday morning and had apparent signs of being assaulted. The young man was taken to the Reading Police Department before being transported to the hospital with non-life-threatening injuries. Police believe his injuries were the result of either a fight or an assault that occurred at a youth party that evening on Newtown Turnpike. Anyone with information on that is asked to call Reading Police Sergeant Quinn at 203-938-3400. And in other news, the drug trafficking case against former Easton Police Commissioner Raymond J. Martin is still pending, with jury selection now rescheduled to March 14th. The defendant moved to postpone jury selection for 90 days and filed a waiver of his rights under the Speedy Trial Act. Robert Chattagey, U.S. State's District Judge, granted the postponement on December 21st, according to the court document. However, given the age of the matter, he notified counsel that further extensions cannot be granted. Martin, an Easton resident and owner of Martin's News and Smoke in Stratford, was charged on July 14, 2015, with conspiracy to possess oxycodone with intent to distribute. 12 people, including Martin, were charged as a result of a long-term investigation. More on that story at eastoncourier.com. And in New Canaan, a third forced residential burglary in 3 weeks has occurred on Douglas Road on Friday, December 30th at about 5:15 in the evening, according to New Canaan Police Lieutenant Jason Ferraro. The suspects seen on a home surveillance video system remain at large, police say. Along with this latest home burglary, the New Canaan police are actively investigating 2 other burglaries, one on Gower Road and one on Rosebrook Road, that they were said to have occurred there on December 10th. Police are urging all residents to set their alarms, install surveillance video cameras, and never hesitate to contact them to report anything that appears suspicious. We're going to step out for a break, and when we come back, we're going to recap some of the top stories we're following today on your coffee break after this.
Connecticut is coming back to hometown banking, to a partner that makes small businesses feel big, where community comes first, where high-tech tools go hand in hand with a human touch, where you get the know-how only neighbors can deliver, where saving time is important too. It's time to expect more. It's time to bank well, bank smart, bank local, bank well.
1, 2, 3, Abby! You know!
I want to find out how good I am.
Yes, sir! If you relax, you get blown out. Let's get it done! Let's get it done!
What can you take advantage of right now?
Yeah, come on. I can push myself way beyond what you think.
Pressure technique. Bring it back.
Manfredi New Canaan is a dream come true for locals Kim and Roberto. Their Elm Street store features Rolex, Hermes, and design jewelry collections from everyday classic gold to diamond jewelry. Manfredi offers a range of services from simple jewelry and watch repair to elegant jewelry design. Let Manfredi New Canaan help you find the perfect gift to celebrate important life moments. Visit us at 72 Elm Street, New Canaan, or online at manfredijewels.com.
At InSports Trumbull, the game is always on inside. Recently renovated and home to one of Connecticut's largest indoor turf fields, InSports is a multi-sport recreation center providing state-of-the-art facilities for league play, camps, and youth programs. Sign up now for InSports fall and winter lacrosse clinics and leagues. With programs ranging from first grade all the way through high school, there's something for every lacrosse player at all levels. Programs include college coaches clinics, youth box winter leagues, high school winter leagues, and 7-on-7 tournaments. For more information and pricing, visit us at insportcenters.com. Like us on Facebook.
I'm John Kovach. I'm a newspaper editor. I'm a high school football coach. I'm a television presenter. And I want you to love fishing as much as I do. Tune in to Yankee Fisherman, Thursdays at 1 on the HAN network. It's like going to the tackle shop without leaving your office.
What's happening up in Hartford and what's trending in the Nutmeg State?
Join Kate Czaplinski
And Josh Fisher
on CT Pulse live Wednesdays at 12:30 to find out.
We talk to the leaders and newsmakers while breaking down the stories you should be paying attention to each week.
With the help of HAN's editorial cartoonist Doug Smith, we take a humorous look at the news of the week. We talk about everything you were told you should avoid bringing up in polite company.
CT Pulse, Wednesdays at 12:30 on the HAN network. We're back on this Wednesday edition of your Coffee Break on the HAN network. I'm Kate Czaplinski, recapping some of the top area headlines we're following today, including that Westport News reports a tractor trailer going the wrong way in the northbound lanes of the Merritt Parkway just before exit 41 in Westport late yesterday had motorists swerving to get out of the way. This photo was also shared by Westport Now. State police managed to stop the vehicle before it caused a collision, closed the highway, and backed it down to exit 40 in Norwalk. The closure touched off large backups. The Department of Transportation said the highway was reopened shortly after 5 in the evening. And the body of a woman was found yesterday on the beach at the end of Alchler Pier in West Haven. Hearst, Connecticut media reports the woman, estimated to be about 40 years old, was found after 9 in the morning, according to Sergeant David Tomorrow. Police and the fire department paramedics were called to the beach on a report of an unresponsive woman and determined that the woman was deceased. Detectives are continuing their investigation and say they'll release more information as it becomes known. And crews from the Ridgefield and Wilton fire departments extinguished a house fire on Pelham Lane around 5 a.m. this morning. Assistant Fire Chief Jerry Myers said the blaze damaged a large room and a hallway on the lower level of the home before being extinguished. The emergency call first went to Wilton because of the home's location on the Wilton-Ridgefield border. But you can get more on that story at theridgefieldpress.com. In other news, a 26-year-old Wilton man who police pulled from a burning car back in November was formally charged in that incident on January 3rd after weeks of investigation. Police said Hunter Stanfield of 30 Bittersweet Lane was charged with operating under the influence and failure to drive in the proper lane in connection with the motor vehicle accident on November 23rd. Police obtained his blood alcohol level of .26 from Norwalk Hospital with a warrant. They had suspected he had been drinking because of his behavior and because he said he had had some wine with a prescription pill. Police joined forces on a rescue mission November 23rd to pull Stanfield from the inside of that wreck of his 2001 Range Rover, which began burning from the engine compartment after running off the road and hitting some trees. As you can see, that rescue was captured on dash cam video. Stanfield was removed from the car by 6 officers just before fire engulfed the entire vehicle. The car was in the roadway on New Canaan Road, and officers supplied first aid at the scene, and he was taken by ambulance to Norwalk Hospital with only minor injuries. There's more on that story at wiltonbulletin.com. And the Ridgefield Press reports that Ridgefield is now home to a refugee family forced from troubled lands of the Middle East. Michael Retker, co-chair of the committee sponsoring them, said that they're a family of 4, parents in their 30s, 2 boys, kindergarten and preschool. He said they're Syrian and they've been in Turkey 2.5 years before coming to the U.S. Retker said that they voiced many times that they're very, very thankful to have the opportunity to have come to the U.S. The town has also been very generous with the family. Residents organized a clothing and household goods drive. Retker said they posted things that were needed in terms of clothing, and basically the entire list was filled in about 3 days. There's a lot more on that story and that family at theridgefieldpress.com. But let's throw it back over to Frank Granito for one final look at our forecast as we see the sun is coming out right now, Frank.
So some early morning cloud cover has broken now, as we should expect sunshine throughout the county for the rest of the day. Temperatures up in the 50s as we get one more warm day before what looks like will be a cold and possibly snow-filled weekend. Cold tomorrow with a lot of wind, temperatures in the 30s and wind gusts between 15 to 30 miles per hour. We'll see a little bit of sunshine in the morning, but that should clear out for some, cloud cover to move in overnight, and we will see snowfall beginning before Friday morning. Those snow showers will continue on and off until about midday, accumulating up to about an inch of snow. Temperatures in the 30s on Friday afternoon, but that number is going to drop down into the teens overnight, and there is a chance for a couple more snow showers before Sunday as we head into the weekend.
All right, thanks so much, Frank. We're going to wrap things up here on your coffee break. CT Pulse coming up at 12:30 with myself and Josh Fisher. 2 o'clock Nutmeg Sports and girls basketball live at 7 o'clock on the HAN network. And we'll see you for your coffee break tomorrow at 11. Enjoy the day.